Turning now to Pennsylvania, the suspect charged in the murder of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson was denied bail at a hearing today. Luigi Mangione is now fighting extradition to New York. During his appearance today, shackled and shouting, this is what he had to say as he entered the courthouse.
Completely unjust and an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
Our Anna Schecter has been following the case and joins us now. Anna, it was a bit hard to hear all of that, but there were other things said and mannerisms and attitudes struck by this defendant to be charged. What did we learn today?
That's right, Major. It was quite a dramatic day in court today. You just saw him there shouting something about it being an insult to the intelligence of the American people. Then inside court, he was acting erratically. He raised his eyebrows, defiant, and at one point started speaking to the judge. His lawyer had to tell him to please be quiet. He was denied bail and was angry about that, and he is refusing to make this extradition easy. He is fighting it. And so what happens now is the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, who has already filed murder charges, he is now seeking a warrant from Governor Kathy Hochul of New York to facilitate this extradition. She has to file that with Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro. Now, there is a lot of momentum to get this done, so I imagine that she will do this quickly. But this could delay this for several weeks because paperwork has to be filed. I think prosecutors and investigators were hoping that he would not fight this and therefore facilitate a quicker transfer from Pennsylvania to New York so they can get this going and have this wheel continue to move, because they do believe that they have the right man. They have the person who pulled the trigger.
And as you know better than most, there's been tremendous speculation about a possible motive. Let's get the speculation off the screen and move to what investigators believe they have learned that is provable thus far.
At this point, investigators are homing in on the 3-page handwritten document that they recovered on his person, in which he describes grievances against corporate America, particularly citing UnitedHealthcare as one of the most profitable companies in the U.S. And he complained about companies like UnitedHealthcare putting profit over patient care. This jives with what they found at the crime scene. The bullets and the casings had the words deny, delay, depose. So very early on Wednesday, by about noon, they had recovered those bullets and they saw those words written there. So they knew that it had something to do with a grievance about how insurance companies handle claims. What's surprising here is you have an individual who had means. It was not that he was personally in some fight over trying to get coverage. It was more of his being inspired by the Unabomber, for example. He's written a positive review about Ted Kaczynski's book online, and he had a presence online kind of glorifying that kind of a worldview. And in that handwritten letter that he had on his person, essentially justifying his actions, he said something to the effect of, I'm the only one to take this seriously in an honest way, essentially trying to justify taking matters as he perceived them into his own hands, and prosecutors will say committed this heinous crime in cold blood.
Anna, the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, made some comments last night in regards to this idea that there might have been some justification in the grievances expressed by this defendant. Let's take a listen.
In a civil society, we are all less safe when ideologues engage in vigilante justice. In some dark corners, this killer is being hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning.
To that last point that the governor made, Anna, it's been something I've seen today that those who were at that McDonald's are fearful now because they're getting some sort of blowback for participating in the discovery of this defendant and assisting authorities.
That's right. The very people they are the reason why we are getting closer to buttoning this case up. They are the reason that the perpetrator was caught, and yet they themselves are receiving death threats. It's been this backward thing that's bubbled up online where, yes, you have a CEO with a very high compensation package. Also, yes, he was murdered in cold blood. And so what Shapiro was doing is tamping down on this sort of grotesque perversion of the facts as if it would be the victim's fault, which, of course, it wasn't.
Anna Schecter, thank you so very much.